If you can, ladies and gentlemen, what I want you to do is, of course, picture this. And I was watching this movie and I said to myself, I know for a goddamn 100% fact.
I am not a crook. I have never been a crook, and I will never be a crook.
Fuck it, I will rent it. I don't care.
It's really on me. As James Cameron said, the Na'vi hang dong like donkeys.
This is the 3 for 3 podcast.
Oh, you motherfucker.
How does it end?
What you gotta look up is why is the internet debating whether Nancy Reagan gave good head?
Oh my god! I was not expecting that turn. What the fucking... What the hell?
Send me the goddamn quote of him saying that.
What the fuck? Kind of pissed me off they put the shit porn over that.
A bunch of goddamn fucking bullshit is what it is.
Bags up, everybody. Bags up, feet up, coming through.
There have been a lot of times where I tried to slide it out without breaking the cookie. Didn't quite work. Like, don't put this shit on us.
I was like, we didn't do
You motherfucker. And what is that movie about? Fuck if I know, man. Honestly.
Amen to that.
It's just a...
That's been a 3 for 3, my friends.
Picture this.
3 for 3. Now that's really cool.
Welcome, everybody, to the Season 4 premiere of none other than 3 for 3, which is the video that you clicked on, and now you're watching it. So you better know what you're watching, which is, yes, the Season 4 premiere. We're back again, whole new season, same old us, 3 new movies. And we are excited to bring you those 3 movies, which are pretty different. We have a very wide array of movies. Sam is on a roll here, picking movies that are very similar, but not the same. In my opinion, Cool Hand Luke and One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest have similarities. But we will get to that movie eventually, not to start. To start, I think I would like to go with Jackson's pick, which is bringing back one of our favorite people on the podcast, Senior David Mamet, in his movie House of Games. Not House of Yes. Not House of Pain. Not House of...
Dynamite.
Yep. House of Games. So with that in mind, Jackson, I will let you take it away.
Well, yes, indeed. Thank you very much, Mr. Patterson. Yes, it has become tradition on the 3 for 3 podcast to always have a season premiere feature a David Mamet directed film. Ah, wow, what is that?
Old House of Games script that comes with the...
Yeah.
What? That's crazy.
Is that Criterion?
Yes, Leia Crank.
Ah. Yep.
That is so cool. Wow, I'd like to read that just to see like
Just
what little
The
details he
list
includes.
of all the renditions that he had to write before the last one.
That is so cool. Yes, so it is the return of Mr. Mamet to the podcast once again. And if you can, ladies and gentlemen, for the first time in season 4, what I want you to do is, of course, picture this. You are a doctor lady, but not just any doctor lady. You are renowned actress Lindsay Krause, returning to the podcast for the very first time since the first episode of this show, where she was in Daniel as the mom. A long-awaited return. And she is, a famous psychiatrist. She wrote a book. People are coming up and asking for her autograph. All this kind of shit. But she seems a little detached from her job. She doesn't think she's, doing any good. She's interviewing patients in prison and, it's really getting to her and all this kind of stuff. So one day, she's interviewing a patient of hers. And he's like, "Hey, doc, you're not fucking helping me, goddammit." And guess what this motherfucker does? Pulls a goddamn gun on her. And she's just like, "Hey, bro, put the gun down and I'll help you, you know?" And so he does. But the reason he's pulling a gun is because, but actually very similar in the vein of my last pick, he owes 25,000 goddamn dollars to some shady ass people. And she's like, okay, well, I'll help you out. You want me to help you? I'll help you. So she goes to this place, to the where the people that he owes money to are. And what is this place, you might ask? The House of Games. And she goes, and you have a bunch of people there playing the most silent games of pool I have ever seen. I mean, there's not, you could hear a pin drop in that room. Nobody is making any goddamn noise or having any conversations. It was very strange. But she goes in and she's looking for the guy who runs the joint. Who is it? None other than goddamn Joe Mantegna. He's got a criminal mind, you see, and she is there to pick his mind and say, hey, erase this debt. I'll do something for you. Not like that, but I'll do something for
You'll get
you.
your sweet treat if you know what I mean.
If you know what I'm talking about. And so he says, okay, first of all, he doesn't owe 25,000. He owes like 800 bucks. So he's a fucking liar. But also, if you want to help erase the debt, I got a job for you. I'm playing poker with this fucking guy from Vegas, right? And he's cleaning me the fuck out. So if you come in, pretend to be my girlfriend, and help me recognize his tell when he plays with his fucking ring, then, and you help me win the game, all debts are canceled. And who is this poker player that's cleaning him out? Returning 3 for 3 actor and David Mamet regular, Ricky Goddamn J, who is in the Hall of Fame at this point. God bless him. I love him. He's so wonderful, as he was in The Spanish Prisoner and in State of Maine. And he's in there, and it's tense, right? It's a standoff. And at one point, Joe Mantegna, he says, when I go to the bathroom, tell me if he plays with his ring. And he does. And he does play with his ring. And she's like, he's bluffing. Because if he plays with the ring, that means he's bluffing, you know? So he calls his bluff, right? Thinking, oh shit, I got him. Well, it turns out he wasn't bluffing. And Joe Mantegna owes this guy $6,000. So what happens when it maybe looks like he can't pay the money? Ricky J pulls a goddamn gun on him and says, "Give me my money, bitch." Much like Justin Long and Emmy Rossum in Comet, "Give me the fucking money, bitch." So that's where that goes. And fucking our doctor friend, she's about to write a check because she's rich, famous psychiatrist, remember, for $6,000, but she notices a little something that all of us men have experienced before. Little drip, drip, drip. If you've seen, I think you should leave. You know what I'm talking about. Should have gotten the, I can't remember the name of the fucking clothing brand he's trying to get him to buy. But yeah, it's a squirt gun. It's not a real gun. And so she calls him on it. It turns out they're a bunch of fucking con men. And they were trying to run a con on her to scam her out of $6,000. So, once the jig is up, she goes home, but she brought a little token with her, and she's still thinking about him. So the next night she goes back and she meets up with Joe Mantegna and she says, I want to visit your world. I want to learn more about your world. I want to study it, the world of con men. And so he starts, showing her the ropes, showing her all kinds of shit, showing her his goddamn dick in a hotel room, all kinds of shit. They
The mists of the
fuck in
queer
some
world.
dude's hotel room. And, they grow closer and they develop a relationship, and she gets drawn more and more into his world. And then from there, all kinds of fuck shit happens. She gets knee deep in some bullshit. There are, as we have come to expect from David Mamet, many twists, many turns, many surprises. Things are not what they seem. And in the middle of it all, another returning 3 for 3 actor, JT Walsh, is in this fucking movie, and all kinds of shit is going down. You don't know what to expect. You don't know who to trust, but we know one goddamn thing. David Mamet is a fucking genius. And he has brought to us yet another intriguing, suspenseful movie that we are now going to talk about. So now, I turn it over to the two of you. What were your thoughts on this film?
Well, the big thing for me is that this was the very second David Mamet film I ever got to experience. because the first one was I flew up from Florida. Matt put on Red Belt, and that shit was fucking wild. And I immediately was like, I gotta go home and I gotta watch another one of his movies. And this was the first one I could find, and it blew my fucking mind in the way that it could be like stories could be told, actors could be famous, but also kind of slip back into the just non-persona kind of you're anybody kind of thing. Um, and then this was my first real big exposure other than Criminal Minds to good old Joe. And so I was like, damn, this man could fucking act. And God, what a fucking ride. What a goddamn ride. It's so contained, so personal, but also has such a huge scope. And I know it's because he wanted it to be a much bigger film with bigger names and everything, but he chose to rein it in and do it with his friends and his wife and all that kind of bullshit. But I think it benefited from that so much, and it made the New York life just more personable. It made the characters more tangible. You just fucking feel when like things happen, and it jars you, like when the cop gets shot, and you're just like, what are they gonna do? And then when the first twist rug gets pulled out, you're like, what is she gonna do? And then she stands her fucking ground because she knows that's that fucking water gun. Because I mean, you gotta load a gun. You can't just fucking threaten someone with an empty weapon, as he says. But I need to shout out Mike Nussbaum, the
Yes.
fucking goat. The way he does that whole thing about the $20 bill and keeping the secrets and then keeping calm, but also freaking the fuck out internally when shit starts going wrong. Um, I love
You're
that.
a goddamn fool bringing the broad with you.
Yeah. Well, he called her a bitch at one point when he was like, the bitch
Many
went
times,
crazy.
yeah.
He was like,
Slapped her in the face too.
yeah. Um,
That took me off guard.
but I was fully with Lindsay Krause the whole way through when I first saw this, and watching it this time, knowing that she's going to be played the whole time, really changed my perspective and allowed me to kind of watch all the facets and try to find all their tells and all that kind of stuff, which was a really cool experience this time. So, and it also made me want to rewatch F is for Fake. So,
That might be a pick down the road for me.
I sleight of hand, sleight of hand.
This is my first time watching it, and I don't know how I knew, but I just knew that when she started getting into the world of common, I was like, they're gonna play her ass somehow. They already tried it the first time. Which, in my opinion, I like this movie a lot, but that first con, how the fuck would they know that she was gonna put down 6,000 of her own money? Like, was he just gonna?
Matt, white bitches in the 80s were used to just writing a check and not thinking about it, okay?
You know, fair, I guess. But I'm just like, would he have like, if when he lost, if she hadn't offered, would he have like then blamed her and been like, "You owe me $6,000"?
That's a good question.
Well, they know she's rich.
Well, they know she's rich, but that was just like, because like if I were, I mean, I granted I'm not her, but if I were her, I wouldn't have just been like, he's bluffing, put $6,000 of my own money down. I would have looked at him and been like, you do what you want, pal. It's your money. I don't give a shit if you know, I told you you play with the ring. You can do what you want or fuck off. I'm doing my
I think
best.
that's part of being a con man is being able to read people and just kind of predict what they're gonna do and shit, though.
Yeah, that one just threw me off. I mean, I did like the movie a lot. I liked it did feel very real. You know, for a second I was a little off put by the monotone dialogue because it felt at the beginning it felt very like just straight monotone. I was a little like the dude who was her who was her patient. I was like, you could use a little more emotion, guy, for being 25,000 in debt, even though he was lying. But still, and I didn't notice that, Jackson, about the pool hall in the beginning. That's a good point. They probably should have added some effects. But I did like the movie a lot. I did call her getting conned coming. What I didn't call was her shooting his ass and him just not giving, being so defiant about it. I really liked all the little like hustles they show her, especially the one with William H. Macy. Boy, when
Yeah,
he
it's the
opened that
goat.
door, I literally clocked it. I was like, "That's William H. Macy. What the fuck?" And I was like,
I
"Oh,
said the exact same thing.
he's really in this movie." Um, and yeah, it's like he is a really good writer. Like it's one of those things where the more we put on the podcast, the more it's like obvious he knows what he's fucking doing. And I haven't seen like much repetitiveness either, other than the actors, which I never mind that. Uh, just shows people like working with him. I mean, it's yeah, I mean, like it's hard to say not to repeat what you guys have said because I just agreed with it. But like, the only issues I had were the that opening scene. I was a little like, what? But also, I was into it. I was there. I was like, I did not expect him to have the water gun. And then I was also like kind of surprised that they were all con men because at first I thought he was gonna be like, "Yeah, we got your ass," like Ricky J. Like they were all gonna be like, "We got you now, get the fuck out." But then nope. And I was like, "Damn." It was kind of dumb for her to come back into that world knowing that they already tried to rip her off. And I'm like, "Do you really think they're gonna be nice to you?" I mean, I know, you know,
Well, you got to remember, per Mammoth code, she's a writer. She has to get to the bottom of that story so she can write her book. Drive. She's writing Drive 2, The Driven.
the driver's already a movie. But yeah, I mean, I really liked the movie though. I was enjoying it. I had a good time with it. And yeah, that's about all I have to say about it at the moment.
Um, yeah, it was very intriguing because, The Spanish Prisoner was one of I liked State of Maine a lot, and then The Spanish Prisoner is one of my favorite things we've ever had on the show. So the stakes were high here. I was expecting like, all right, like how is this going to compare? And man, I loved it. I think, and honestly, it's a movie that the more I've thought about it, the more I've realized. Holy shit, there are so many layers to this movie, like beneath the fucking surface, which Sam, you must have noticed since it's your second time watching it. But like, there are so many things I was thinking about it afterwards, like, damn, that shit hits like after you're done so much, because there are a lot of questions that it poses that it never really answers. It kind of forces you to think about it afterwards, where I'm just like, because I was wondering the whole movie, I was like, all right, what's their angle? Like, why are they trying to con her? Like, do they know who she is? Like, and by the time you get to the end of the movie, it's clear, like, oh, they know exactly who she is. Like, from the beginning, they've known exactly who she is. Because, she won't, they keep asking her name. So you're like, oh, they think she's just like some lady. But then by the end, he says like, "Oh yeah, best-selling author, psychiatrist, doctor, whatever." I'm like, "Oh, they've known who she is from the fucking start and they know everything about her already and they know how much money she has." Like that's intriguing. And then just the fact that like I was thinking about it, I was like, was the first con meant to work or what did they intentionally fuck it up so that they could then run the long con and get way more money out of her afterwards? I'm just like,
The way I see it.
again, that's an interesting question where I'm just like, it's interesting to think about. I think so. The more that I've thought about it, I'm like, I think it's very possible. And even if not, even if the first con was meant to work and they genuinely just fucked it up, like him giving her the token, he knew, like if we show her our magic a little bit and we give her the token, she's gonna still be thinking about us. We're gonna intrigue her just enough to draw her back into our world. And they're right, and I think like again, expert con man strategy and all that. And there are also so many other things where at the very end, because like you said, because the thing about it is, I did expect a lot of the twists and turns only because the Spanish Prisoner taught me like to trust nothing. That was just like everything is not what it seems. Everything is a con. That's what that movie taught me. So when they seemingly kill JT Walsh, I was like, oh, he's in on it. I know that they're conning her ass like 100%. What I did not expect, just like you said, Matt, was her shooting his ass. That caught me off guard completely. And I was like, oh my God, wow, this is nuts. And that scene though, afterwards, I was thinking about it. the thing that sets her off was him calling her a whore and basically saying like you're a fucking idiot, you're a whore. And then that's when she shoots him. And I remember just in the moment being like, oh, well, okay, no shit, that's the thing that set her off. You know, he's being mean, he's insulting her. But then I thought about it afterwards. There's that quick scene earlier in the movie where she's talking to her friend and she's like, yeah, you know, my father always called me a whore. Wait, your father? I mean, her father always called her a whore, you know? And I'm just like, oh my God, that's why it set her off so much. Because, like, there's some deeper trauma there from her past. I'm like, there's so many layers to it, you know, like
You
beneath
touched
the
on it
surface.
with the token because I feel like the whole antithesis of this movie is both greed and the desire as a human to just want control of something we don't necessarily have all the grasp of. And that's why the scene at the end where she steals that lighter is like the most paramount point in the whole movie for that kind of message.
And again, like you can tell throughout the movie, there's a reason she goes back. Like, yes, she's tantalated and she's excited by, you know, what she saw, but also you see by the end when she steals that lighter, she's got a knack for this herself, you know, and she's interested in it herself. And she's not entirely satisfied with her life before she gets drawn into the world of the con men, you know? And I'm just like, okay, again, that's something if I saw it a second time, I'd really want to analyze, you know, is her character and like her journey to, because I interpreted the ending as like she's gonna start picking this up herself
Hmm.
afterwards. And so you know, and then just the way she feels so guilty when she thinks she killed JT Walsh earlier, and then she feels no guilt whatsoever after she kills Joe Mantegna. She's just like, "Hey, you gotta forgive yourself." You know what I mean? You know, I'm like, okay,
The
she's changing
sheer
her
like
tune.
rage of
But
finding out that it's fake blood though, and then like these motherfuckers are I'm gonna get them back.
the only,
And
I was about to say, this movie does speak to the greater truth, though, that all psychiatrists are con men themselves.
hey, fucking man. But yeah, and she and again, I was wondering, like, so is her patient even a real patient, or did they just pay him off? And you know, there's so many things it doesn't answer. It just forces you to think about it, and I love that because there are answers to all the questions. You just got to think about it, you know. And yeah, I just the whole thing was
The
such
answer to
a.
your
I
question,
mean,
Jackson, is yes, because later on in the movie they're like pay the kid off, and
they do say that, yeah.
they're talking about
But and that scene was so fucked where she's just listening to them just be like, yeah, the dumb bitch fell for it. And I'm just like, oh my God, I can't. I was like, she's got to get revenge somehow for Christ's sakes. Like, and she did, sure enough. Yeah, this fucking movie rocks. And I just think again, if I ever see it a second time, I would really want to just study the layers to everyone's characters, especially the main characters. She was just such an intriguing person. And there are probably even more things that I noticed afterwards that I just can't remember off the top of my head at the moment. But yeah, it's so intriguing in that way that David Mamet always is able to just lure you in and you know, the twists are really well done. Like I figured they were conning her all the way through, but still, that's only because Spanish Prisoner just like unlocked those parts of my brain, you know, and like kind of taught me to see that shit. But just because that just blew my mind, like how many rug pulls there were in that movie. So, but it was still really well done. And everybody, I'm glad, like you said, Sam, they didn't get a bigger cast because I think everybody like played their parts very well. There were a few moments where I thought Lindsay Krause was a little too stiff, but like, you know, I still thought she did a good job. I think like there were a lot of scenes where I was like, okay, I really appreciate what you're going for. And because I can tell what she was trying to do was she was trying to be incredibly kind of stiff and buttoned up.
she probably wished David Mamet was a little bit more stiff 10 years later.
Oh, there you go.
Divorce
Now
joke.
he's stiff for Rebecca Pigeon. Not for Lindsay Krause. But at the risk of this thing cutting me off again, great time. Great time. It you know, is a great fucking movie that again, I think is as all Mammoth scripts are. Very well written, dialogue is great, the twists and turns, the structure of it, it's just the man knows how to goddamn write. And he knows how to direct. I think this was also very well shot, very well directed. I think and for his first movie that he directed, it's a good job. It's got a very neo-noir kind of feel. And I think again, like, because we talked about in State and Maine how, that kind of felt like a play, but I think this and Spanish Prisoner both felt more cinematic, and I think it goes to show he is a pretty good director, and he's directed a lot of movies too, so he doesn't get, I feel like he deserves to get more credit for his directing
That's why
abilities.
I really love the William H. Macy scene because like the conversation, like obviously con men are on the surface nice people, but like the way he just brought so much positivity and joy into William H. Macy's life, being like I made him think that he would feel like he was a good person, but to like deep down also know that like he is doing fucked up shit behind the scenes. It just like makes you really start to like his character a lot more. It's to the point where when the reveals of him being even more of a piece of shit come, it kind of like hurts you almost a little because you're like, man, you were supposed to be a good one.
Yeah. And again, it's like it's such a genius you know it's a genius play on his part because he's making her think like, oh, he's showing me his secrets. That means I'm really in on it. He's not going to do it to me if he's going to show me, but it's like, no, that's part of the con.
Yeah.
That's, and again, I also just got to say, Ricky Jay apparently was, in addition to being an actor, he was like a legendary mu magician and was really gifted at sleight of hand and things like that. And knew like he was an expert on con men and how to do that kind of stuff. And they David Mamet apparently asked him to tell him about real con tricks and everything. And he was like, I have a lot of friends who this is their living is doing this stuff, and I don't want to betray their tricks. So he created that envelope trick for the movie.
Hmm.
Like the fact that they had a guy on set who they could just be like, create a brand new con out of thin air and like put it in the movie is pretty fucking cool. And yeah, there was more to him than meets the eye, apparently.
Of course, Ricky Jay has to keep the con men's stuff a secret because he wants them to rip off people and make money out of stealing from the general public.
Yep. He said literally, he was like, "This is how some of my friends make their living, so I don't want to betray their secrets and shit." And I'm just like, okay,
Code of honor.
interesting.
Like, honor among thieves, I guess.
Yeah.
Go off,
Yeah.
bro.
Hmm.
Sorry. I don't know.
No, I mean it's valid. But yeah, I just thought that was interesting. I'm like, wow, he's an interesting fellow, that Ricky Jay. But
That's
yeah,
why he's
it's
in all the movies, is he's conning the shit out of the directors.
somehow, some way he
Got
was.
Paul Thomas Anderson.
Hmm.
Boogie Nights reunited him and William H. Macy, even though they were not in a scene together.
They were also reunited in Magnolia, even though they weren't in
I
a scene
forgot
together.
Ricky Jay was in Magnolia.
I forgot he was in Boogie Nights, but yeah,
He's the
he
one I remember most because when I think William H. Macy is trying to, or he's trying to talk to William H. Macy about the cameras, and William H. Macy's like, he says like, my wife has an ass in her cock in the fucking driveway or something like that. He,
yeah.
like said it wrong, but they kept it in, and I was like, I don't know. That's hilarious.
Yeah. But yeah, again, I'm glad that I chose this one out of all the possible Mammoth movies because it was fun being drawn back into the world of the con men and again just hearing that great David Mamet dialogue and getting such great performances. I mean, like Joe Mantegna and Lindsay Krause and everybody. Mike Nussbaum, like you said, was also great. JT Walsh was great. That whole section of the movie was just so like I was like, oh my God. Like even though I figured they were conning her, I was still just like, oh my God. Like what are they gonna do?
It's
Like
gotta
where is this
get
gonna
real
go?
dark.
I know, yeah. I'm just like, holy shit, bro. And yeah, fun time all around. Really well done. Uh yeah, I know David Mamet is fucking crazy now, but I still kind of miss him low key.
Next will be homicide.
Hey, good shit.
Yes. Well, if we have no more to say about the House of Games, unless if there's any closing thoughts or anything else, Sam, if you have
Watch it.
anything to say,
Fucking
yeah,
watch it.
watch it and learn from it.
Hmm
Prevent yourself from being conned.
See, the real con is where we're going to take them by the end of the season, and they just don't know yet.
Mm-hmm.
We're
Mm.
playing the cards now, but our royal
They're gonna
flush
shoot
isn't coming.
us. We're gonna have a fan come in and shoot each one of us individually during the show,
Good God.
and they're gonna take over.
That will be the end of our time.
Yes, the new host of
Proper.
3 for 3 will take over, and it'll so on and so forth
The
until
person who shoots us will be 3 for 3.
Yes.
yes, 3 shots into each of us: the head, the heart, and the lungs.
And then the fourth one in the hidden spot in the foreskin.
There you go.
They're shooting our foreskin off, and we're officially circumcised.
That's how like the cops will catch them though.
Mazel
'Cause
tov.
all three of us will have near grazes on our foreskin from bullet holes, and then we're like, "This is too much of a connection." 3 foreskin bullet holes in 1 week.
The 3 for 3 murders will remain unsolved. Robert Stack will be talking about us.
Oh man.
Anyways. So yes, now I believe it's time to move on to the next pick, which is going to be mine,
Mm.
which is none other than Matt Johnson's 2013 debut,
They butt.
The
Debut.
Dirties. As we say on the podcast, ladies and gentlemen, picture this.
Kevin Smith pictured this.
He did picture
He
this. You're in high school, and you got some. You're in a film class. And you got to make a movie, but you're kind of lonely. You got your friend named Owen, and what are you two gonna do? Well, you're gonna make a little movie about killing your bullies because these guys, the Dirties specifically, are just running rampant in high school. They're just doing whatever they want. They're smoking cigarettes outside. They're pushing you down in the hallway. You know, all that.
Hey, let go of my hand, bro. Sam, let go of my hand. Why you holding on to my hand? Sam, let go of my hand, man.
Go, man.
Classic
Um,
bully.
Literally classic bully shit. And so what do? They make a movie about killing the bullies. And how do they do this? They reference almost every goddamn movie known to man while doing it. But nonetheless, their movie is a vision. And when they realize that nobody fucks with the movie because, of course, everyone hates them, not just the Dirties, but almost everyone in this fucking school does not like them. For reasons we'll get to. They decide, or not they decide, but Matt, who is, he names himself Matt and names Owen, decides that maybe they should just do it for real, because, that would be funny. That would be hilarious if we just, actually killed him,
You're only gonna kill the bad guys. No worries.
Yeah, we're just here for the
We're
bad
just here for the
guys.
bad guys.
Yep. We're gonna wear shirts that say it, so everyone knows. And slowly but surely, this little fantasy of really killing their bullies becomes more and more of a reality as it continues to get worse, and they continue to be more and more depressed, or at least one of them does. And Owen decidedly doesn't really want this to happen, but he's going along with it because he really can't tell if this crazy fucker means it or not, who is his best friend, so he's of course giving him the benefit of the doubt. And there are points where you're not sure where it's going to go, but it surely does eventually get to some crazy points. And that's about all I have to say at the moment, other than the fact that I did see this when it came out. I bought it immediately on Apple. Thank you, Kevin Smith, because I would not have known who Matt Johnson was without him. The only reason I knew this movie existed because Kevin Smith produced it. And I had a great time with it back then. My only gripe, which we will get to, is near the end. But even then, I've seeing it now, I'm okay with it. For being a super low budget movie, I didn't check the budget on this, but I gotta assume it's pretty freaking low. Homeboy does a great job, in my opinion, keeping the stakes real, keeping the interactions real, doing the found footage thing. Yes, he does reference a lot of movies, but that makes so much sense when you think about the characters and what they're doing. And I think I just looked up his date of birth. Bro was born in 1985, which I thought he was our age. He's like 41.
Yeah, he was in his
He doesn't.
late
He looks
20s
good.
when he
He's like
filmed it.
Well,
28.
he was our age when he made the movie, I think.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I thought he was like our age now. Like, I thought he was like, I was so, well, that would have made sense. Maybe I thought he was like a little older than us, but like about, you know. But still, when I watched the movie, I kind of believed that he was, like in his 20s, early 20s. So, surprised. But he looks good for his age. Anywho, um, I really liked it. I really fucked with it this time. I will turn it over to you guys and to see what you guys thought before we dig deep and talk about the specifics and all that stuff because I do want to get into that. I just didn't want to spoil too much just yet.
Well, this is another movie, lo and behold, that Matt introduced me to of a whole new director and world to get into back in freshman year of high school, and this movie tickled me silly because goddamn, this movie's so funny, and it is exactly what my humor was back in 2013, and the in turn led me to go seek out Nirvana the band, the show, go see the new movie. It's goated. But this like put Matt Johnson on the map for me in such a heavy way, and he was an actor. He was never like the director, and so seeing him kind of come forward in this later time with Blackberry and Nirvana band, the show, the movie, and then his new one, it's so cool to see like where he started and where he had so much fun and love for film and just how much he wanted to like make what he had as important and magical as the movies that he's referencing. And while say what you will on if he succeeds or not, I think he captured that energy in a really great way, and also kind of was really ahead of the way high school kind of truly became in that period from 2013 until 2020, um, in the sense of like being alone, being trying to find your purpose, having these bullies that are on the surface level just being bullies, but there's a deeper rooted issue that they like cause within these people, the loss of friends and the way that you have this dream that you want to make with your friend, and then the friend doesn't want the dream anymore, and how that hurts you. And that's where the last shot is like, it's me, is like just a gut punch, to see what he's lost to gain what he wanted. And I'll also save a lot of my thoughts into the nitty gritty, but I love this movie, and it shaped what I liked, how I liked movies, the way I approached movies, and my openness to just dive into a story. So
well, real quick, I just give me 1 minute. I have
I was about to pull out blueprints and a fucking gun.
literally, oh, it cuts to the like side locker cam, and he's just walking up. But it's actually right over here, and he comes into my place, shoots me, and then comes into your place and then
He
shoots
is the
you.
whole-
And then
the holding your hand
he's
thing.
the new host that we were just joking about.
guys. I stole this cake from home ec class. I stole this cake from home ec class. I don't know what to do with it. I stole this cake. Here. Why don't you have some?
Is that a red velvet cake?
Did you get
It
the
is.
cake just for
Hell
this
yeah.
bit?
No.
Oh, I was like,
My
I
man's
realized
red velvet.
I realized about halfway through Matt's picture this that I had this in my kitchen and that I needed to go get it for this bit.
Hell yeah.
And now I will put it back.
Just don't give it to the dirties, guys.
Yeah.
Jesus, you gave it to the dirties.
No dirties on this podcast.
No.
Did you see Nirvana the band, the show, the movie?
I still haven't because I want to watch the. Well, I wanted to see it in theaters. I haven't seen it I've seen that it's out, but you got to buy it.
Mm-hmm.
But I saw that on Amazon. They have the show for $12.99 for the first season. So I'm probably just gonna buy that, watch the show, and then watch the movie.
If you want a test run to see if you like it, the first episode is on my Vudu. The very first.
I'm gonna love it. I've already seen too many clips from it.
Okay.
Like I saw the one where he watches Star Wars on VHS, but like watches it right next to the screen.
Yeah, like
They keep telling him to get away, and they're like, "Get away!" And he's like, "No." And then when he's done with it, he's like, "Hey, did anybody turn off the lights?" And then they just cut to him with the freaking like blind glasses on. And he's like, "Oh, that was awesome."
But yeah, this I had never heard of this movie in my life. I did not know who Matt Johnson was. I looked him up and was like, "Oh, okay, he's the guy who did Nirvana the band, the show, and all that stuff, and he's going to direct the Anthony Bourdain movie." and he did Blackberry. So I was like, okay, so he's been around. But I didn't know what this was. Never heard of it. I was like, wow, Matt's really going out there for his first pick of the season. Didn't know what it was about, didn't know like what to expect. And then boy, what a ride I was taken on. I'm just gonna come out and say it. I not only did I love this movie, I I think personally this is the best movie about this topic that I've ever seen. Like, I think this is the most accurate depiction of these kinds of people that I've ever seen. I think the way they get into these characters, especially Matt Johnson's character, like it is some of the most true, honest to God shit. We have all gone to school with people like that. I mean, we've all known them, and I'm just, it's his performance. I didn't know it was him until after the movie. I just kept saying, whoever this guy is playing this kid is like, I'm like, this doesn't even feel like an actor. This just feels like I'm watching a real person. And same for the other kid, but him especially, I was like, holy shit. And it's weird because they they kind of make you think in the beginning that the other kid might be the one who takes it more because he's the more quiet, kind of reserved one. But low key, I'm not gonna lie, Matt Johnson's character was annoying me from the jump. I felt bad for him, like I definitely did, but like at first, but I was just the way he just like wouldn't shut the fuck up and just was coming up with these stupid ideas. I'm just like shh, type shit. And but once I still like felt bad for him and sympathized with him in the beginning. When he told the story about the sweatpants, I was like, oh man, like that sucks. And that's relatable. When I started to turn on him, like hardcore was the cake thing. Like when he was like forcing him to try to do the cake thing, even though it was an obviously terrible idea and he clearly didn't want to do it. And then when he like did his own plan and it worked and it was so much better, and then he still got pissed off at him for not doing the cake thing. I'm just like, fuck yourself. Like genuinely, it pissed me off so much. And then it just kept getting worse and worse. And just the way they depicted him just like not knowing the difference between the movies he was watching and reality. And just the way that scene where he's talking to his mom was just chilling, where he's just like, do you think I'm crazy? And she's like, well, technically crazy means you're not able to know the difference between reality and what's in your head. And just that whole thing, the way that played out, I just thought like more than any other movie that I've seen about this topic, it really got inside the heads of these kinds of people and the circumstances. Because I just have to say this. I watched the drama about 3 weeks ago. I don't know if either of you have seen it.
I'm seeing it
No,
tonight.
but
I'm
I know
really
I know what
excited.
it's about though.
This is the movie that movie thinks that it is. That movie was stupid as fuck, did not cover the topic at all in a way that was meaningful or anything. It was just stupid. That whole movie plays out like a Family Guy cutaway joke. It's just like the dumbest shit, doesn't have anything interesting to say beneath the surface. And I just had to get that out. I'm like, this is the movie that was trying to be. Because A, it actually covers the topic in a realistic way. The bullies that they have to put up with are so realistic because you see so many times in movies, including the drama, where it's either just the most generic bully shit that you've ever seen that, it's just not, you can't really relate to it. It's just, give me your lunch money type shit, shoving them in the hallway. So generic. And it's like, yeah, this hasn't really been how bullies work since the 1980s, but, whatever. But this movie, again, every scene where they're getting bullied, like low key, I kind of felt like anxious watching it because I'm just like, holy shit. Like, I've seen that, I've experienced some of it. Like, it's kind of fucking real, and I'm
Rock
just,
part
it
is
was,
what got me
said what?
when he gets the rock thrown at his head
Oh,
just
I
in the
know.
middle of
That
the
was
street.
so fucked up.
Like I've seen people throw rocks at kids' heads just for the
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
uh,
Yeah, and the grabbing the hand in the hallway, and them laughing at the movie when it comes on and nobody shutting up and just when he like basically throws his lunch at him in the cafeteria and all that kind of shit. It was real fucking shit. Like, and it's so rare to see that in high school movies in general these days to see them get it so down. And so I just thought again, it really was immersive in that way, and it really was realistic, and it really spoke to, what causes these kinds of situations to happen. And, I don't know. It was so interesting to me the way they just showed it all so realistically and the way they showed what a psychopath his character is and the way he's reading, not to give Matt ammunition here, no pun intended, but reading the Columbine book and all that kind of stuff.
Throwing up gang
It's
signs as well.
yeah, and like shooting the guns with his cousin and everything. And
Yeah.
then the other kid is so just like, and it goes to show, you know, there are two kinds of bullied kids. The ones like Matt, who, are already kind of psychopaths, but this is just their excuse to act on it. And then the ones like Owen, who, are getting really badly bullied, but they don't use that as an excuse to like, act violent and like act out their psychopath like because he's just the poor kid has every right to stand up for himself, but he's also not using that as an excuse to act like a piece of shit. You know what I'm saying? Like that's kind of what Matt is doing, is just like using it as an excuse to kind of, I don't know, be a piece of shit in a lot of ways. But I don't know, it was, my heart broke for Owen the whole movie because he was getting it so bad, and it warmed my heart to see him finally kind of start to come out of his shell and get with his crush and all that kind of stuff. It was like I don't know, like again, I related to Owen's character a lot, and so I kind of connected with him throughout the whole thing, and I could kind of, I don't know, again, in a way that I don't normally do in these kinds of movies, I don't usually see it as that relatable to like my high school experience. But so whenever someone is able to do that, it's nice. And yeah, I don't know. The whole thing was my only gripe because I loved it the whole way through. I thought it was incredibly well done. The found footage thing was very well done. I don't know why the cameraman was following him all the way up until the
I
end.
was like, I was gonna say, I was gonna be like, we haven't talked about the cameraman yet. Now he probably is just as bad as Matt is because he never
Yeah, that
stops him
that
when
was
he
one
walks
thing
away.
where I'm like, why is he still filming him at this point? Like that didn't really make a lot of sense. But
He too is a psychopath.
I guess so. The end was a little too abrupt for me. I get that they didn't have any money, but so they kind of had to end it there. But I kind of was like, so what, is he gonna kill him or what? I feel like we need an answer to that question. But
I feel like that was the first time around. That was my gripe with it too, because I kind of, when I went into it, I thought it was going to be more like about the school shooting, was going to be like the big finale. But the more I've sat with it, especially like this time, I was like, I get it now because granted, yes, they didn't have enough money, but also since especially school shootings are a lot more prevalent nowadays, they happen quite often. They really don't get a lot of kids. Like they don't, it's not like Columbine was like one of the big ones, but nowadays it's like you get like one or two, maybe injure a few, and I feel terrible just being crass about it. But like that's the truth, is like usually it's like two died. Gets two, and then they have to end it with the, hey, it's just me, and then you kind of are left with the, is he gonna kill his friend or not? I personally don't think so, but also I noticed this time, and I noticed that the last time, and I thought it was like a movie mistake, but this time I'm pretty sure it's like legit. Is his gun jams, and it's
Yeah,
very clearly
yeah,
pulled
it
back,
pulled
and
back.
he doesn't shoot anybody else the rest of the time, as far as we know, and it still stayed jammed. They didn't cut to it being like back to racked
right.
again. So I figured unless he has more guns, which he might still have a few guns, but like he's probably done. Like he just got the two, and then he's either getting arrested. I don't even think he's going to be able to shoot himself
Well,
again.
that's
He
what
just
I
pass.
would
I
kind of
just
took it
don't
as
think
he potentially killed himself because he didn't understand why his friend didn't recognize him as a human anymore, and his whole point of we're doing this together because this is what we need and want, and to have that kind of ending where they're completely different people, and Owen is disgusted by him and all this other kind of stuff. I think that's why it was the right moment to end because it has so many avenues in which Matt's character could end up with either killing Owen,
Well,
killing
it's
himself,
wild.
getting killed by the police, all sorts of stuff.
it's wild too because like I just, again, to me, it was like, is he, because they had had that big fight, and I think, like, after they have that big fight, I swear to God, he opens his notebook and writes another name down. And I swear that happens. And I'm just like, holy shit, is he going to try to kill him now too? Or, like, is he going to try to kill the girlfriend? Like, what is going to happen? So, again, it's like super ambiguous to me. And I was just like, does he kill him or not? Like, what's gonna happen here? And I think that with that huge duffel bag he was carrying, he probably had like 4 or 5 guns in that thing. So, I mean, he could have kept going if he wanted to. But then again, he's just like, we're just here for the bad guy. I don't know. And again, just that phrase alone is just so like that's so representative of the movie. I'm just like the way that's how he sees it in his twisted fucking head, you know? Like, oh yeah, we're just here for the bad guy. Like it's still a movie to him, you know? And it's just the way he justifies it by just saying like, oh yeah, we're just here for the bad guys. It's like again, I feel like that's so fucking accurate, to how a school shooter actually would think a lot of the time.
And what I love about Matt Johnson is he's not afraid to make himself the bad guy, like or like the crazy twisted person. Like most
Name the
directors would
character
cast
after
themselves.
himself.
Yeah, like most directors would be like, well, I don't, if they're gonna put themselves in, especially writing it and doing all that, they're like they want to make themselves look good. He's like, I don't give a shit about looking good, like I'm just gonna play
Literally,
this character.
when
And
the
at Black, if you see Blackberry, he kind of does the same thing because he's in that one too, and his character in that is kind of obnoxious and like loud, and I'm like, thank you for not like just making yourself like look good the whole time.
I,
And
I I love the part where the teacher freezes the movie and it's both of them like going crazy with the guns, and then it's that image next to the two of them standing there, like, what? You don't see like how great it is?
yeah,
I have to say that scene. The direction in this is so good. The fucking deafening silence after he pauses the movie and the teacher just sits there for 5 seconds like, okay, so you're gonna have to take some of this out. That was just so
well,
much
it's funny because the
tension.
teacher was fucking with it right up until the part where they killed him, and he
Yeah.
was
Yeah, pretty
and it was like
much.
terrible because they shouldn't they showed him like like they did not tell him what they were gonna do, so
Hmm.
like he was like that's like unethical to begin with.
Right.
But I
Sneaking
did
back
wish
into
to
his
bring up
room to get
that.
the extra shots. Guerrilla filmmaking at its finest.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
and I know we kind Sam kind of touched on it, but how fucking funny this movie is at points. Like
Which
the
again, I just the comparing it to the drama, like that movie is also trying to talk about the issue and make it kind of funny, but to me it just came off as like
Like, like, like. Oh wait, am I the frozen one? Shit.
this is how to do it. Like I don't know. It just worked so well here to me.
yeah the he's got the cock or the cock the size of a small pepper. It's
Yeah.
just that played in my head for a while. Or when he's like, "What if we had to tear off pants and we just walk in and tear off?" And he tears off his pants and his balls are just hanging out. I was just like, "What the fuck?"
For me, it's when
And
they're
he's got
recording.
that fucking helmet on at one point. Like this is the kind of helmet you wear for a school shooting, right?
Yep.
It's the
Like,
Foley scene where he's standing on the table in his underwear with the boots, trying to get
yep.
making the duck noises.
Yeah.
And also, we got to bring up the campfire scene where they sneak out and like fucking that Kid Cudi song is playing, which
Yeah, which is that was a wild ass
shit
like Kid
happened to
Cudi
set.
cover.
Yep. And I was like, honestly, I remember listening to that a lot in like high school, and I was like, this tracks though. And that scene by the campfire was so dead serious. That's when you start thinking that like Owen's gonna go along with it because like he starts saying the names of people. He's like, well, they're also a dirty. They're he starts saying the names of the kids that bullied him, and you're like, oh shit.
I
For a
also
second,
have to
you're like,
say
What
a
did
couple of things. One, the way they just highlight how easy it is. Like that scene where he goes in to get the blueprints and he just says like they didn't even fucking check my student ID card. Like it was so surprisingly easy for me to get this, you know? Like that was great. Again, just highlighting the lack of procedures in place to stop something like this from happening. And also like again the way that because I was thinking to myself the whole time, I'm like, bro, say something to somebody. To Owen, I'm like, say something to somebody. Like, what are you doing not telling anybody? But you realize he genuinely thinks like, oh, he's just talking shit. That's all he does. He's just a pussy who talks shit and doesn't do anything. And, it's sad. And I also just have to say, this felt so accurate because this came out in 2013. That's when we were all in high school. Again, just beyond, what the broader themes of what the movie's about, the environment and just the way the characters talk and just everything about it just feels so accurate to that era. Like what high school was like, everything they're doing, the way that they're talking, just the way the school looks. I swear to God, and again, this helped me kind of put myself in it and relate to it. That theater that they're in at one point looks exactly like the Northwest Theater. I was like, did they film this scene there? Because I swear to God, it looks like the exact same fucking place. It was fucking nuts. And again, it's just for me, it's so rare to see them get it so right. And also, I just gotta say, when I started the movie, it made sense why you picked it, Matt. I was just like, there are so many scenes in the first 20 minutes where I was like, this is just Matt and Sam in high school. I just was like,
There's
when they're
times
like
where I
making the
was like, this
movies and
very
shit,
much
I'm
feels
just
like
like,
us.
this is literally just what they did on a daily basis.
The two of us bursting in to shoot the two of us doing cocaine.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And just like you guys filming in the park and like talking to the kids and shit, I'm just like, with the posters on the wall and everything, and I'm just like, yep, I 1000% this was them back then. And I was like, I can see them like watching this back then and relating to it and everything. So
And
yeah, it was say
involved in the
what?
school shooting. No, I'm just kidding. That too.
Oh
But I
man.
mean, honestly, when you do, I did kind of go back after watching the movie and looked at some of the old videos that we had made, and I was like, we legit are like, we have my airsoft guns and shit, just doing crazy shit in my room, and I
Death
was
of
like, yep,
American or whatever it was.
yep, the death of it.
Can't forget
uh,
Conjuring of the Insidious.
Yes.
nope. And I was just like, yep, this tracks. This very much tracks. But I mean, yeah, the fucking. I will say this. I don't know why he thought the whole Malkovich parody was a good idea. Like I was like, dude,
Like,
you're getting, nobody's gonna get being John Malkovich in high school, you dumbass. Like
and I was like,
nobody's
why
gonna.
did you keep that in the movie? I'm like, you're gonna get made fun of for it. Like,
Yeah,
come on, man.
yeah. Like he even said he was like, oh, we're gonna get killed. Like we're literally gonna get killed for this.
And
It's
like
like,
the
yeah,
thing, like there were so many, like I felt bad for him still at that point in the movie, him having to walk out and everything. And but at the same time, you can see early on he's a bit of a like, let's just put a camera in her locker and spy on her. I'm just like, okay, like things like that from the beginning kind of made me a little wary of him.
Something I wanted to say about it was it's interesting how even from the beginning, Matt is bullying Owen and is almost just as bad as the Dirties. And then Owen gets to a point where he doesn't bully Matt, but what his actions and him living his life and actually separating himself from him is a form of bullying to Matt. And it's just that cycle between the two of them that keeps going and going. Um, is why I think this movie works. So
yep. And one of my favorite parts is when near the end when they're doing the measurements and the girl walks up and they're like, "What are you doing?" Like she's like walking past and it's like, "Oh, we're just planning a school shooting."
yeah,
And I said to myself out loud, I was like, oh, the days when you could say that out loud in a high school and nobody took you seriously.
Yep.
like at some point, me and Matt have joked about that around people, and nobody thought it was
I
nobody
feel
thought
like
we would
we
ever
have
do
to.
it.
There were so many scenes in this that just reminded me of the two of you in high school just fucking around and doing shit. But
Here we go.
yeah, but Sam literally you nailed it on the head. That was just like, you know, it's so true. And it's one of the most interesting aspects of the movie to me is because like they're two different kinds of kids. Like Matt is the kind of kid who the only reason he's not a bully himself is because he doesn't have the means necessarily. He's not like physically strong or anything, but as we see, he low key does kind of bully Owen a little bit at points. Like it pissed me off so much, genuinely. That scene where Owen does the cake thing. He talks to his crush. He comes up with his own plan. He follows his own instincts, and he succeeds, and he feels good about it. Like, again, I related to that scene so much where he's like, I went really well, like I really feel like I did a good job. And Matt's just like, what the fuck is wrong with you? That wasn't the fucking plan. I was just like, you're a bully yourself, bro. Like, honestly, you're not. And like, Owen is genuinely just like not one. Like, he's genuinely just like he's a good kid who, isn't fucking being creepy and weird like Matt is, again, putting cameras in people's lockers and, doing weird shit, like he was, again, shit like that was low key getting on my nerves from the jump. And it was a fucking red flag when he's immediately in that movie channeling Heath Ledger, in The Dark Knight. I'm just like, okay, red flag. But
Pimpin'
again, the
jacket
way
though.
that say what?
Pimpin' fucking jacket though. I would have wanted to wear that.
Very true.
So,
Also, great underrated scene that apparently was unscripted. They just got this on camera. Was that very first scene where they're talking to the kids in the park, and he's just like, "Oh man, we should tell him it gets better, but it gets so much fucking worse."
Yeah.
I was like, what a great little moment. But
And then that scene where Owen like freaks out on him on the cliff too, and then he's just like, "You think everything's a fucking movie?" And like he just kind of stares off into the distance, and like that face he is like, it's almost like a dumb like I don't get it face, but also like there's something going on underneath the surface, and you can tell. It's like,
yeah.
damn, you know?
That scene in general was just amazing. And again, like that was what annoyed me was that whole just like he doesn't like everything that Owen said to him in that scene is how I had been feeling for most of the movie was like you never fucking stop. You never fucking turn it off. Like, enough. I don't want to do like I just want to be here with my friend and you're still treating it like it's a goddamn movie? And it's like I don't know. It's just the interactions they have with each other, and then of course the scene where they finally kind of stop being friends and they yell at each other was just it was not overwritten. It was not like just movie dialogue. That was real fucking shit. Like friends in high school, countless times have had that exact same conversation, and it is so just I felt it. And I don't know. That was one of the best things the movie did was it was so realistic, like throughout the whole thing, just the way they spoke, the way they acted. It really felt like you were watching real people. So I give it full props for that.
Yep. And one last thing I want to call out, or two things specifically, was from Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie. Jay McCarroll is like his friend. He's in the fucking movie for like one scene, and I was like, "Yo, Jay!" I was like, "Damn." I didn't realize you guys were friends back then because I didn't. Obviously, I didn't know when we first watched it. And then the second one is when they're shooting the guns. The most fucked up joke, or like not joke, but thing he does in the movie is when he puts the handgun, like his like finger gun, back Owen's head, and then shoots the fucking gun like off in the corner. I was like, dude, that is so fucked up to do to somebody. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it was funny to watch. Like, it made me laugh, but also like in real life, I would have been so pissed off if I was Owen. I would have not laughed. I would have been like, what the fuck, dude?
Hmm.
what makes
Yeah.
some of the realisticness of this movie kind of guttural is a lot of the cases for these people too. Their friends or like surrounding people just saw them as these exorbitant personalities that are just like doing this over the top kind of stuff, but never to that degree. And I think that that's why the sleeping seed that is growing as the movie goes really is like when the coin flips, it's just like, oh no, this is dead ass serious. Even though you think it would be funny, and you think that the whole time the ending shootout is going to be like this comedic kind of thing, given what they filmed earlier, and it's just that's where the poster really fucking haunted me when I first saw it because like Matt Johnson looks sinister as fuck on that cover. Um,
Yeah.
and I don't know, this movie captures exactly what I love about 2013. So
Mm. I mean, I knew when I saw this, I was like, Matt Johnson's gonna be like a name, and then it kind of took him a minute because like Blackberry didn't come out till years later, and then I think the Anthony Bourdain one's probably gonna be his like lift off where he can start directing like legit stuff.
Well, I think I cannot tell you how many times I've heard someone recommend Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie. I mean, that
so
already
good.
I
It's
think
so
is
good.
like, like more than almost anything that's come out this year, I keep hearing about that goddamn movie, and I'm just like, all right. Because yeah, that's the thing is like so many times you see movies like this, like super low budget movies like this, um, from people you've never heard of, and they just don't ever really get to. They maybe do one other movie, but they don't really go anywhere, you know. And it's cool to see looking him up afterwards. I was like, oh no, he's really like blossomed into like this real career where he's gotten to do stuff, and now he's doing the Anthony Bourdain movie, and it's like, okay, like good for him. I'm really happy to see that because it would have been a shame if like someone who showed this much talent with this movie never got to really go anywhere because it was here from the start. I mean, again, especially on what a low budget they had. I mean, the fact that they were able to make something this good, because I genuinely think, again, like I said, not only a great movie in general, but the best movie about this particular topic that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
So I give it full props for that.
He strikes me
Fuck
as a
you,
director
Christopher
too.
Borgley.
He strikes me as a director too that he doesn't need a budget. Like he literally could, like no studio could want him to make a movie, and he's like, "Well, I'm just gonna make a movie because I want to. Like I just like doing this shit, so I'll find a way. I'll do it myself. Like
That's
I don't
low
give a
key.
shit."
The Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie.
Well,
Yeah.
it's funny too, because apparently they didn't originally have the budget to film the shooting. So it was just going to end like you can go on YouTube and look up the alternate endings that they filmed. One of them is just like Owen ends up apologizing to him and basically talking him out of it. And that's how it ends. And I was just like, that wouldn't have been as obviously that would have been a happier ending, but it wouldn't have been as like narratively satisfying. Like you've been building the whole movie to like the shooting, so you kind of have to have that payoff at the end. And I'm sure if they had more money, it would have been an even bigger scene. But I think like again, it didn't necessarily need to be.
Hmm.
I think the way they did it, minus the kind of abrupt ending, was well done. And I'm glad they were able to, get that in there because, again, you're making a point about something, you kind of have to have the payoff for that. We kind of need to see, like, you know, this is the horrors of it's a cautionary tale, like, don't let this happen kind of thing. Like, we got to show you how horrible it is so that we can bring awareness to it, in the real world and shit. So full props to Matt Johnson. I'm going to be following him now. I'm a lot more excited for Tony now because I think this dude's really fucking talented. So
You
Thank
gotta
you,
watch
Kevin Smith,
Blackberry.
for discovering him, or not discovering him, but giving him the stage and the
yeah, and
platform.
Blackberry I'd like to see too. Yeah, because I heard good things about that when it came out.
Man, Glenn Howerton in that one is just a powerhouse. Anyways, if that is all we have to say about the Dirties, I think we shall move on to our final pick of the show, which is Sam's pick, which is none other than the great. Hey, we have the same copy.
Yes, we
Cool
do.
hand Luke.
I wish I had a copy of this movie. I wish.
So yes, Sam, I will let you take it away.
Well, before I ask you to picture this, folks, I must stress this is not how I wanted to see Paul Newman shirtless and chained up, but this is
Can I
how.
just real quick? What better way is there? Your review low-key kind of pissed me off. I was just like, this is the
What?
sexiest fucking movie to ever
Oh, it is.
exist.
It
Like
is.
the peak
I
of
think
male
he just wants him
sexiness.
like
What
in a
other
dungeon,
way do you
you
want to
know.
see it?
I want him bent over a pool table, okay, with Tom Cruise sticking that cue all the way up in there.
Oh my god.
But
Fair enough.
I might
Hey.
regret what I'm about to do, but that's okay. I live for gas station food to begin with,
Oh God.
but I thank God
Did you
my
get the
only
boiled
resource
eggs?
was a gas station boiled egg because I was gonna eat like 30 of these, and
I would have killed you if you didn't do this, by the
I
way.
was
I
going
was like,
to.
You should have gotten the whole, just the bowl of.
Well, that's what I was going to do originally, and then I was just thinking like, I don't want to make Stuart have to live in a house with me for 2 days after I'm farting out all these goddamn eggs. So let me just stick to like one or two, maybe three. And then I went to the Sheets and they didn't have fucking any except for one pack of this to go thing with sausage, cheese, and one boiled egg. But this one boiled egg is the antithesis of this movie. Cool Hand Luke. Last season, I gave you what it's like to not work in a fucking work farm and to get away from that and the problems it causes. Well, now we're going into the work farm and we're fucking doing this shit. We're going ham. Because all you fucking did was have a few brews and knock a few parking meters off its fucking thing. simple thing. Simple, easy thing. But no, they lay down the law hard. And this is one of the most itchy movies you'll ever watch because what happens? Well, he gets arrested and he goes to work on this plantation of sorts that takes roads throughout the state and chops off all the grass along the side and does all these kind of menial tasks, but they're shirtless and sweaty and sexy as fuck. And that hay and that grass is just covering their bodies and it must itch. But yeah, you're just on this ride with him as he gets into this environment that he doesn't want to be in, that he thinks he's better than, which in many cases he is better than, but in many cases he sees the strength of the men around him also crumble, and how this place turns these people into nothing and destroys these lives, even when you have a 2-bit or you have a 10-bit, or if you're there for the rest of your life, it's going to crush you, and you will go in that hole. And anything you do that is against this code, you will be in that hole, including the return of our GOAT, Sir Harry Dean Stanton. Coming back to this cast, I had no fucking clue he was in this goddamn movie, and I was so happy to see him.
He is now tied for first place.
Hell yeah.
Damn.
Hell
Yep.
yeah. But it you just can't go wrong. It's Paul Newman in his prime, just giving some of the best acting you'll ever see in your life. Eating dozens upon dozens of hard-boiled eggs. I should probably take a bite rather than just holding this in my hand the whole time.
The fucking flicking of his stomach, that hollow sound it makes.
Sprawled out like Jesus when he does eat the eggs, which is why this movie even more is a sandpig. But somehow, for the 27 years of my life, I have avoided this movie and any knowledge of anything about it.
Shame.
Yeah, for shame, because this was a fucking blast to watch, and it was exactly what I needed after Cuckoos, where I was like, I don't want to watch anything ever again because nothing will be good. This fucking sat down at this table, fucking ate the whole meal, and enjoyed every goddamn second of it.
I mean, I was thinking it was very similar because, like, not only did they mention the work farm Cuckoo's Nest, but also it's about a guy who goes into a very regulated, regimented prison almost, and then tries to liven everything up and break the norms.
Mm-hmm.
And I was
spoiler
thinking,
alert, doesn't succeed.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was thinking, do you think Randall McMurphy and Cool Hand Luke would be friends?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that'd
Definitely.
be best. McMurphy was probably on this work farm at some point, and then they sent him over to fucking the institute.
Before I let y'all take it away, I just want to shout out George Kennedy. The absolute fucking goddamn
He's
ghost.
so good in that movie.
Rest in fucking peace, because that man fucking could act. That man had a fucking face that is just fucking melts you, because like I
Lovable.
loved him, and he just, I could smell the cigarettes and whiskey on his breath, just like I can with like James Coburn. He had one of those kind of like fucking existences in this movie. It's hard living on that chain gang, but that chain gang is gonna do things to you.
Oh Lord, please don't strike me blind for another few minutes.
We're going back to the dock, Charles. We're going back to the dock.
Low key may have been my favorite line in the movie. I'm not gonna lie. Whatever I may have done,
Yeah.
don't strike me blind. Oh my God.
Oh man, what's it? What was the name he kept calling her?
Lucille, my sweet Lucille.
And then he's just in the bed. He's like, Lucille.
My sweet Lucille. That's what made him finally throw hands with Luke, was him insulting Lucille.
Yep. But yeah, I mean, I feel like I've seen this movie about 8,000 times. Like, I think the last time I saw it was when I was still living in, where you're at, Sam, and I was in my room and I was just threw it on thinking like, I'm just going to watch a few minutes of this, and then I ended up watching the whole damn thing. And Abby, who did not seem to, at first she was like, I'm just sitting here. She actually got into the movie and she was like, oh shit. So that's how I know it's a good movie, is when it drags people in that you aren't expecting to like it. But damn, like you were saying, Paul Newman at his best. It always made me want one of those like necklaces with the bottle opener on it, That's how you know a true alcoholic, because he's like, I gotta have that thing on me. Um, and lest we forget about Dennis Hopper. It's Babaluga.
Yes.
Babaluga. I don't know. That was such a funny ass fucking name. And he was just going crazy in this small ass part. That's also what reminded me about Cuckoo's Nest, because you got like Harry Dean Stanton and George Kennedy and him, and it's like you have these cast members of like people who ended up being like leading men in their own right later, and who are just small parts, but still like memorable and great. Uh, I fucking hated almost all of the guards in this movie. Just wanted to beat the shit out of them. Fucking, the scene in the beginning though, and he's like, "That man shall spend a night in the box. You will not wear your shoes in the bunk, or you'll spend a night in the box." I'm just like, just fucking like interesting as fuck, but kind of hilarious at times.
He
Um,
was low key the only one of the bosses that I didn't hate because he was kind of like I loved it when he was taking part in the egg thing, helping him time it and everything, and I
that's
was
true.
just
Yeah,
like, ah, he's kind of cool.
yeah, he was all right. He wasn't bad, but
If I heard the
fucking
captain's
movie
voice when I got
lacked
there,
the
I would have died laughing.
I know.
Like I would have not have been. I would have been whipped and in the hole immediately.
Hmm.
but uh, yeah, I just love the characters and how they change like throughout the course of the movie, and then just Paul Newman just getting sick of it and just being like, "I'm gonna escape 8,000 fucking times." Like, literally, don't give me one like bit of like freedom or like moment to escape because I will. Uh, and that dude with the fucking glasses, I can't remember his name, but the big, the head one, he was like
Man,
such an
the man with
asshole.
no
The
eyes.
man with no eyes.
I love the shot of like the close up, right? Like with the truck coming down the road and the close up in the glass in the very beginning, and it just says directed by Stuart Rosenberg, and I'm like, you did that on purpose, you fucker. Like, you're like, I'm gonna do one of the best shots in the movie, and then throw my name right on that shit so you know who did it. But I mean, it's really well directed, really well written. I just love all the characters. You almost feel like you're hanging out with them in a sense. Like, I wouldn't call it a hangout movie necessarily, but it kind of feels like one.
When Harry
Um,
Dean Stanton's just sitting there playing the guitar, it kind of feels like that, like you're just chilling with him.
yeah. And like you mentioned, Sam, one of the sweatiest fucking movies I've ever seen. Like, oh my god, I almost started sweating just watching it, and I was in air conditioning. Like, I'm just like, damn, uh, sweaty and dirty. Like, Jesus. Like, even when they were like after the fucking shower, they were in their beds just sweating,
I didn't.
and I'm like, ah,
Well, that's what living in Florida does to you, right, Sam?
Unfortunately. And then you turn into the bully.
But yeah, I mean, I fucking love this movie. I've seen it too many times. What we have here is a failure to communicate. Like, I fucking love. I've said that line a few times before. Nobody ever gets what the fuck I'm talking about, though. But yeah, thank you for picking this movie. It's definitely a classic, and I enjoyed watching it. I didn't even mind digging it out of my damn mound of DVDs, even though it was the last box I had to look in. So I looked through like four
Always
boxes.
is the last box.
Yep, and I'm like, damn. But anyways, Jackson, I will let you take it away.
Sam, I just, man, this may be the greatest one-two punch you've ever pulled. I mean, God damn, I don't think there's ever been two back-to-back choices in the history of this podcast that were just such a fucking wallop, you know? Cuckoo's Nest and then Cool Hand Luke. I mean, fuck, you're on a roll. So, my God, what a movie. Second time seeing it. First time I saw it, I loved the shit out of it. This time, somehow, it was even better. I mean, I was just like, this is just a goddamn American classic, cinema at its finest. I got no notes on it, bro. It is just goated as shit. It is amazing. It is one of the greatest movies ever made. It's a classic for a reason. Every fucking thing about this movie, from top to fucking bottom, I just gotta shout out every goddamn buddy. Stuart Rosenberg. It is such a shame to me. Like he had other movies after this, but nothing anywhere near as big or iconic as this, which is a goddamn shame to me because wow. I mean, if this is the only thing he ever made, that would be good enough. And but and he had other movies. I kind of low key may pick The Pope of Greenwich Village eventually. But and there are others that he did. But yeah, he absolutely fucking nailed this shit. The GOAT Frank Pearson, one of my favorite screenwriters ever, killed this shit along with Don Pierce. Paul goddamn Newman, and maybe his greatest performance that I've ever seen. I mean, I don't know, it's up there. That I swear to God, he is so good. It's just like Nicholson in Cuckoo's Nest. Just generational career defining performance. Like you would think it would be impossible. Like if anyone ever gave a performance this good, it's like, oh, well, that's the performance of their career. But just like Nicholson, bro's got like at least 10, 15 others that are like also this iconic. So that just shows you how goated he is. The scene where he's great throughout the whole movie. I swear to Christ, the scene where he finds out his mom dies and he plays the Plastic Jesus song on the banjo is like literally just some of the greatest acting you'll ever see in your fucking life. That shit shattered me this time watching it. I was like, and the story that I read was they got that scene, and after they cut, Paul Newman was like, "Let me do it again. I can do it better. I can do it better." And Stuart Rosenberg was like, "No one could possibly do it better. We're moving on." So, bro knew what he had there. I mean, everyone, I just can't imagine being there on the set to witness that in person. It was just shattering. George Kennedy, fucking goat. I love him. This was my introduction to him, and he's since become one of my favorite actors. His greatest performance ever. Won an Oscar for it. Well deserved. So good. Gives the movie so much heart. You kind of hate him at first because it seems like he's going to be like the antagonist character. But then I just love their bromance that they have. Like their friendship is just so awesome. Like he's sticking up for him. If
Makes it
my
so
boy says you
sad.
can eat 50 eggs, you can eat 50 eggs, just love it.
What
And
makes
then
it so fucking just terrible is their friendship and how that plays out.
I know just the way it ends,
Screams of
but
anger.
the way he just fucking tries to kill the man with no eyes was such a great moment. And just him saying at the end, it's such a great final scene.
His nurse
That
Ratchet
great
choke out.
that Luke smile, that classic Luke smile. He had it until the end. And he is fantastic. Everybody, Strother Martin as the captain is great. Everybody, even the smallest people play their parts very well. Joe Van Fleet as Luke's mom. That scene is just incredible. Again, just so sad. She is, again, one of the best actresses of her time. It's so cool seeing her in this. Very underrated actress. She was fucking amazing in this. And just everything. Conrad Hall, the cinematographer, shooting the goddamn shit out of it. Lalo Schifrin doing the score.
Yes,
Just,
returning.
everyone. And also, I was like fucked up because there was a scene where I was like, I swear to God, that prisoner who just had only 2 lines was Joe Don Baker. And sure enough, what do I find out when I look up the credits afterwards? It was Joe Don Baker in his film debut. And I was like, fucking thank you. I was like, that, I knew that was him. It looked just like him. But yeah, everything about it, just the story, the characters, every fucking thing. It's just flawless from top to bottom. Everything about the way it's made. You get so invested in Luke and the prisoners, in them, like, looking up to him and, aspiring to be like him and looking at the picture. And just like, it's so heartbreaking when they break him and all the prisoners turn on him, but then they respect him in the end because, and just I don't know. It's so much that I guess we'll get into later, but those are just my off the top thoughts. And yeah, it's amazing. And also, I must say, I have had nights, even this week, where I could relate to Luke, when he's in that hole, just like, oh please God, don't make me do it anymore. Don't make me do it anymore. Like I was like, relatable as fuck after a long day at work sometimes.
It's like the Longest Yard kind of took inspiration from this, and they threw fucking Adam Sandler in the hot box.
Hmm.
Yep, yep, very much so.
He had his Paul Newman moment.
Hmm.
I think we've all had a Paul Newman moment from this movie in one way or another. For me,
Whether
it
it's
was
that or
probably
eating
For me, it's
50
the very
hard-boiled
beginning.
eggs or whatever it is.
For me, it's being drunk and just undoing all the parking
That's what I
meters.
was.
Or just watching a hot girl wash a car.
Yeah, she knew what
Yep.
she was doing.
Oh, she was driving them crazy.
That
I'm
may just
loving every
be
minute of it.
that may
Yeah.
just be some bitch they know, but it's the bitch they want.
Mm-hmm.
So.
It's the bitch
Actually,
they
that's something
fantasize
they
about.
don't know.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Oh man.
I was like, they kept getting more and more intense with the shots too, which I thought was funny. Like the fucking boobs against the windshield, the soapy boobs against the window. I was like, I know for a fact they can't even see that, but it's hilarious that like just through
That
the
wasn't for
camera,
them. That was for
that's for
us.
us. Yes.
That was for
Yeah.
us.
It had me saying, "Boss, I'm just wiping my forehead, boss." And then
Stuart was
Boss,
looking
I'm
at you
just
like the man with
you
no
know,
eyes, like
fixing my belt, boss.
I got one hand on my remote and one hand somewhere else, boss, while I'm watching this scene.
Don't you worry. The work will still be done.
The scene where they tar the fucking road too is incredible. I just love that whole scene.
I,
Just all the scenes of just like inspiration that he gives them. It's just, I don't know.
it's so interesting how like wide and just huge that road can feel and look at times, given the way that he shot it and just kind of like had them off to these sides where the cars are going in between, and you have like the sections of where the cops are stationed watching them so none of them run and all that kind of stuff like it. And then as you pointed out, Matt, the shot of the road through the glasses, like this vast open space of like endless possibility in every direction is going to drive them crazy because they're so confined in that open space, um, which makes all the working scenes some of my favorite parts. But the way they herd them in like cattle and then run them out and all that kind of shit. Remember your number. If you forget your number, it's a night in the hole. So
Damn it, what was I gonna say? I can't remember.
yeah.
Oh, the fucking the way the man with no eyes is one of the most like intriguing characters in the movie to me. He's so just like I don't even know if he has any lines. If he does, it's not that many. And just the mystique of his character and the way they make him so scary and intimidating and just almost kind of mystical. It's like crazy. Like that shot where that's one of my favorite shots in the entire movie is when I think it's when they're making him dig the hole or it's around that part where he's just like standing off to the side and he's got the shades in his hand and his face is like covered in darkness and everything. Again, it really just it adds to the mystique of the character so much. Like he really is just this like, figure in the dark, just like lurking around and shit. I don't know. It was just that was one of my favorite parts.
Yeah.
they really
It's
gave
just a
some. Oh, you were saying?
I was just gonna say it's just a fucking amazing movie. Like there's like you said, Jackson, no notes. You know,
I love how they give the personality to some of the other guards. Like when the dog dies, like you felt how crushed that dude was because I mean he breeds these dogs, he lives with these dogs. They smell fresh meat or new meat is what is the line he said at the beginning.
He- he's like the guy in the Return of the Jedi when the Rancor dies.
He literally.
Pretty
Oh,
much.
good lord.
George Lucas was like,
I
technically Larry cast.
I should have known better, but like the sense of security I felt at the end where he goes into the like church building and is like alone and you're like he's got this. He's going to make it out of this. He's going to have his life. And then to even have George Kennedy come in and be like it's okay. They said they're not going to hurt you. We'll figure this out. We just want you to be alive. That's what I want. And then boom, just bullet straight through the neck like
It was a failure to communicate, you know.
god damn.
He even says it right before they shoot him.
Yep.
It's just so fucking like I gasped and I was just like, "Oh my god." And the whole moments afterwards and George Kennedy just so fucking angry that he attacks the man with no eyes. It's like, wow, this is a fucking powerhouse. So,
Hey, also a very similar ending to Cuckoo's Nest.
yep.
Mhm.
Somebody getting choked out, the bad guy.
Choked out, main character dies, but also his story lives on and inspires the rest of them to live better
He's got a
lives.
very tall, kind of imposing best friend that he's with who ends up being the one that lives.
That
Right.
also asks, how?
If
I had to get that in there.
let's say if Nurse Ratchet wasn't revealed to be a lesbian in the Ryan Murphy prequel series, I would say she would have went home to the man with no eyes. That was her husband. And the Cool Hand Luke and One Flew
My
Over the Cuckoo's
fist will
Nest
not
maybe
fail to
take place.
communicate with Ryan Murphy's head one of these days.
I like to think that that's Harry Dean Stanton in a straight story, but just like a little bit younger. Before he gets out and then goes to the next porch to play his banjo on.
It tracks, low key. But in a way, all of Harry Dean Stanton's characters, I feel like, could all be the same person if you really look at it. But yeah, and also just the whole recurring thing of like, Luke's relationship with God and everything is also one of the best parts of the movie. The way he's just kind of like I can't remember what part of the movie it is. Oh yeah, it's after they like torture him and stuff, and he's in the ground. He's like, "Where are you now?" Like that whole thing just like hit. And then just like the bleakness of him going into the church being like, "Why can't can you just once, like, can you just give me something? Can you just show me that you're there and can you just give me something good?" And then on cue, they just show up and kill him. It's just like, fuck, It's so sad. And it should be said, again, this was 1967 when this came out. It was one of those formative movies right there with Bonnie and Clyde and The Graduate and, all those In the Heat of the Night that, really helped break open, the new wave of, Hollywood. And like, because something like that, you wouldn't have seen that in a movie from just a few years before this. It would have been considered too risky. And I think again, just like those other movies, it should be appreciated as one of those movies that really like kind of, you know, carved the path forward for the whole decade that came after it and shit. It's just a fucking again, cinema at its finest. No notes, genuinely.
Indeed, indeed.
I'm so happy to have seen it though. Like,
I'm glad you finally saw it.
Yeah.
It's like one of those things where like I wish it was my first time, but also like it not being my first time does always help. This one is one of those movies that helps. Like you don't, you benefit.
It's weird because genuinely, I liked it more this time than I did the first time, and I already loved it the first time I saw it. So I'm just like the movie's just got that power. Like it doesn't matter if you've seen it. It's like, no, this hits just as much, if not more. Because I noticed more this
warmth in
time.
Paul Newman's eyes. I could wrap up like a fucking baby in a blanket in those eyes.
Honestly,
That
he's like one
smile
of the
of
only
his.
people that could have played the role. He's probably the only person that could have played the role because
Only
like,
person.
it's just
Mhm.
Because originally it was supposed to be Jack Lemmon.
oh hell no. I mean, no
Yeah.
offense to Jack Lemmon, I like.
No,
him
I
a
love
lot,
the man, but
but-
no, he would not. First of all, I don't think he would have been right, but I also don't think anyone but Paul Newman could have played this part. It's like, again, like Nicholson and Cuckoo's Nest. It's like, nope, he's the only one that could have ever done this. I'm sorry.
Sign me up for that Jack and Paul Lemon party, and I will come out a new man.
Alrighty. Well, do we have anything left to say about Mr. Cool Hand Luke?
Expect
Crazy handful of nothing. That's where Breaking Bad got it from.
expect more first watches of me that are of this level of importance and historical significance for this season.
Indeed.
Given some of the things you mentioned you had never seen in the finale, I'm gonna pick some stuff that you've probably never seen.
Much like my picks
Miseducation
next
of,
week,
uh,
which
Sam Holler.
what'd you say?
Said the miseducation of Sam Holler.
Goddamn. We'll soon make a compilation of all my movies for the whole pick and their actual Family Guy parodies that I witnessed before seeing the actual movies.
Honestly, that would be pretty good. Just
Yeah.
Don't sue us, Seth. Don't sue us.
Please, Seth, please.
Or sue us, I want your signature.
Anyways, well, that is it for the season 4 premiere of 3 for 3. We thank you for joining us. We appreciate your patronage, which I know you're not paying us, and we're not getting paid by YouTube just yet. But your viewership, probably is better put, is appreciated. Please like, comment, subscribe, throw a vote in the polls for your favorite movie this week. And we hope that you join us again next week for another. Don't vote for Jackson just because he tells us.
What are you talking about? I didn't say anything. Mind your business. I didn't say anything.
Just vote for what your heart wants. Okay.
I'm the only one who's not a cheater.
Hey,
Their definition
I
of
play
cheating's
honest.
just so you know, if none of you vote for Cool Hand Luke, that means you don't think Luke is cool or have hands. So fucking vote for the thing that is right.
It's funny because this is I think the third episode in a row where I'm gonna vote for Sam when I'm telling people not to vote for Sam.
But anywho, we hope
Don't
you
worry,
enjoy. We hope you.
I was gonna say my curveball next week. You probably won't want to pick for your number one pick, so it's okay.
Oh boy. Intriguing.
Sam's picking last Avatar: The Last Airbender, but not the movie. Or
Oh, you want a generational episode of 3 for 3. You two aren't going to be able to get one goddamn word in edgewise. It's going
Oh,
to
I'll
be
be
an
edging.
hour
Don't worry.
straight. An hour straight of me just like screaming.
But yes,
It's
well,
awesome that we
again
started the
hope you join
season.
us next.
Sorry, it's awesome that we started the season all 3 for 3.
Yes,
we're still
that's
3 for 3.
we
but,
are.
We will see how long that lasts, but I think it's gonna last fairly long, unless if Sam's curveball is really a curveball, or if it's just
It is a real curveball.
Well, I just have to say, I am going to be going on my 99% run this season, so I'm going to be throwing a few curveballs in there along the way. I feel like it's going to be really hard to pick one you guys actually may not like, though. So I'll have to see what happens there.
Just don't
Yes.
pick La Ventura again.
Definitely will not. That was a misfire.
But yes, we will see what we have next week. Hopefully, we'll still be 3 for 3, but who knows? We could break the streak. Tune in to find out, and thank you again. See you next time.
Deuces.